Oh, geez.
Wow, that happened fast.
We went live. I pressed the live button halfway through the intro.
Do you want to do the intro again?
I'm in shock right now.
Me too. I was like, I wasn't ready.
I
was like over here in the corner snoozing.
To be mentally ready, I need that the full intro.
Hey, let me know when we're live.
We're live.
Oh shoot.
Okay, let's redo it. Sorry, everybody.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm ready. What happened? Did it do it again?
We're live. Uh-oh. Somebody's at the door here.
Live TV.
We have pizza. Oh,
would you mind paying for the pizza?
Are we gonna? Do we need to restart again?
No. Okay. Yeah, we can restart again.
We might.
Probably a repetition. Let's do it again.
We might need to eat pizza live.
Pizza. My lovely wife has volunteered to go pay for the pizza.
What are we doing? I don't know.
We're talking about practice growth today here on Dennis on Demand.
Right.
Look at the camera. It's so distracting because our playback is right up there, and our camera's here. Do you want to try the intro one more time?
The monitor.
How can you tell it's Friday?
It's a discombobulated. We haven't been fully doing this fully. You've been
slacking.
We've been live streaming for everybody else, but not for us.
Not for us.
I feel like there's so much freedom here.
We have to take care of ourselves here.
It's first is to get to that whole
Okay, can you
I could just be myself.
Yeah, tell us you've been like a madman. You've
honestly
been doing this for all of our clients, which is super fun and cool.
I need some more wheels in my brain.
Okay.
I need you have that one cog, that one wheel. It's figuring everything out. I need to figure out
gears.
More things. So I need AI. I'm glad AI is
finally arrived just for
here.
you.
It's here for me.
Was it I always get it wrong. ChatGPT.
Well, that's just one AI. So there's all sorts of other AIs. People are using AI for, designing.
But what is GPT?
What is it?
I always get the acronym
So
wrong.
it is an AI. So it's a language AI. So
AI. Got it.
All it is doing, it is.
I played with it a lot.
It is going out into the I think it's really
scraping the internet.
Confined to where it's looking. I think it's only Wikipedia that it's looking into now, and it's all just text-based. So the AI is looking at the best possible solution for the prompt that it has been given.
Got it.
Right.
Well, let's preface this. I like where we're going with this. We're kind of jumping right in as usual. Today we're talking about Dennis on Demand and growth, practice growth, right? Everything we do at Dentist on Demand is coming out of practice growth.
Also,
this is what we do.
Like laboratory growth as well.
Laboratories.
And we talk about we've been busy. It has been a big
working with some of our lab partners.
A big part of that story is 100%. We've been very in the trenches with our laboratory partners too, which is
so tell us a little bit about that. So taking a quick left turn into the laboratory world.
Well,
which
I think
we both spend a lot of time there.
It's really cool because I think having a full understanding of the laboratory side of the industry, coupled with the clinical side of the industry, it gives you some really deep insight. So, for a laboratory to survive, a lot of laboratories, they'll hang up probably 80%, 80% of their business is single unit posterior all day long.
70%.
70 to 80%.
I've heard a lab owner say that before. That's the number. 70% of their business is single unit crowns. Yeah.
So, we're talking scope of practice. A big thing that I've been hung up in the last little while has been scope of practice, and I was fortunate enough to be on one of the latest sessions with our laboratory partners. They had a 2-day session to discuss jaw position. Mm-hmm. Okay, first is let's set the jaw to its maximum healthy position. Mm-hmm. Okay, to alleviate all sorts of different symptoms, including airway. It's Ocean Ceramics. I'm just going to say it. And the course
shameless plug.
And Dentaphore. It's if you're out there, definitely look into this course. It's fantastic. So what it does for a clinician is it gives them the insight, the knowledge, and the solutions in not only like restoring large cases. Okay, and this could be denture, this could be all sorts of different scenarios, right? Obviously, it depends on the patient. Right. But scope of practice, okay, this is where this idea of scope of practice comes in, is, you know, a lot of dentists are focused on, you know, single unit dentistry, and obviously
that's a baseline, yeah.
That's where you're starting from. It's a natural thing to have a patient come in, and it's like, where's the problem, right? And you single out the problem. It's this one tooth, you fix the, you know, you drill, you fill, and peace out. And like that over time doesn't solve the nucleus, these underlying problem that the patient has. And actually doing single units over time can also create more problems. So, you know, this whole course is revolved around like, let's look at the mouth and the jaw position as a whole. Let's address that first, and then let's restore to a healthy foundation. Right? So, I mean, that has all sorts of, like, we're talking about orthodontics. We're talking about
this goes implants. To the overlying theme here is that what's your relationship with your laboratory like?
And I think, like, if you don't have like a deep connection and relationship with your laboratory right now, I was on a webinar last night, and they were asking me like, what's my inspiration? Like, who? I think the laboratory is the backbone of the industry. Honestly, like the registered dental technician,
100%.
They see so many cases come through their desk. They're on the phone with articulators. They're really diving into these cases, but they see everything, and they talk amongst. I need like nourishment. I need pizza.
The pizza's here.
Like they talk.
I can go get it.
They have full out meetings like to discuss and troubleshoot cases. Like that's what they do.
So I'm going to keep us on track with the theme today. So practice growth.
Yes.
So if you're a dentist or a lab. So now, like your relationship with your, like, and that's why I asked the question, what's your relationship with your laboratory like? Yeah. Are you on a one-to-one basis? Do you look to them for guidance? Do you ask them for advice? I think that if you can really leverage that relationship with your laboratory partner, again, that goes back into expanding your scope of practice. Perhaps there's something that the laboratory is offering, a course, or even just some knowledge that they have to say, hey, you know what, we can expand your scope of practice in this area. For example, perhaps maybe TMJ or ortho or whatever. Ooh, that's loud, eh?
Well, like what the laboratory is providing, they're building the solution for the dental, like for the clinician.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's the RDT and the clinician on the phone coming to collaborating on what it is going to be, what's going to be the best possible predictable outcome for this patient long term, right?
So are you finding that expanding? So if a dentist is like, hey, you know what, I came out of school, I've been at this now for 5 years, I really want to expand my scope of practice. Do you think the lab would be the best place to start looking?
Honestly, if you're fresh out of school, I would definitely find and like contact us. We have some, like, we're working with some great laboratory partners, but I would definitely go and pick the brain of a laboratory partner. And there are some really fantastic multi-generational laboratories out there that have been doing that have been entrenched in the laboratory business of finding solutions for patients for, we're talking about like 60 years plus. And like, this is over the whole story of analog and impressions and hands-on stuff to now digital, and how digital fits and what's the best way to, to implement digital, and how to like, and digital isn't like the end all solution. And a lot of people are maybe a little confused on that, I'm going to buy that intraoral scanner and it's going to be the end all solution for like
be a game changer,
like accuracy, but it's just another tool in a dental practice. And there's right practices to have that intraoral scanner in practice performing to its maximum potential.
Well,
like obviously
improving efficiencies.
Yeah, and obviously that the technology as it progresses, it improves upon everything, but it's not like, there's
it's not
still
replace. I guess it's not a full swap out. It's a, what's the indication for this, right?
That's right. Yeah. But I mean, with these tools too, I think the industry completely understands that the intraoral scanner is like more than just digital impressions now. Like a lot of these scanners have all of these other tools built inside the scanner software that you can utilize for case presentations, for other record keeping, to do orthodontics, to see things progress over time and match things together. So working with the right team, like this came up last night in the seminar, like purchasing these pieces of equipment, and then this kind of goes, it transcends the intraoral scanner. Purchasing a piece of equipment is a worthy investment. It's not an expense. Like if you're in the mind frame that purchasing this piece of equipment, I'm going to look for the best possible deal, which you should obviously look for the best possible
always
deal.
Want a deal.
But what you want to do is maybe look at, there are some, outfits that alongside of purchasing the equipment comes like a training or like ongoing training or support.
And that's why I'm cautious when I say we always want a deal as well, because there might be some some value built into that purchase that you don't see right out of the gate, right? If you're just shopping for the lowest price, it's like, okay, cool, yeah, I can get the scanner over here for a lot cheaper. Yeah. But if I buy it over here, I can actually call this, if I'm buying it from a laboratory, for example, I have a support team, or if you're buying it from a major dealer, you have that, look at the support team around that piece of equipment and say, okay, well, who do I call when this thing isn't working properly?
And we're not selling equipment. Let's get that straight. And like we work with some people that excel in this stuff, like Dr. Paresh Shah. He's got every gadget you can imagine.
He's got a lot of toys.
And like Faraj Edher, like he runs the DDI and BC Study Club, and it's his job to, he's made it his passion to figure all these things out. I guarantee you, even if you have a scanner sitting in your practice, and a lot of you will probably agree that there's a lot of things with that purchase that you've made that you're not fully using. Like I would.
Are you using it to the best of its ability?
I'll throw a bet out there, right? So,
a bet.
Yeah, I don't know.
You gonna place a wager?
Yeah, and like there's going to be like, no, I know how to use that. I know how to use it to its maximum potential.
Yeah, but that comes back to the person who sold it to you, right? Like, hey, am I using this for everything? When you're getting a demo on a scanner, you should have a very clear understanding of everything it can do. And if you're not using it to its full capacity, circle back with that person that sold it to you and say, hey, you know what? I'm not really using this for ortho. How do I do that?
Mm-hmm. And okay, so let's reel it back in here. So scope of practice. So with these tools,
stay in our lane today.
Forget it. Good luck, right? Stay in the lane.
Stay in the lane.
Like
I'm already in the pasture, man.
Anyways, I kind of.
That's okay. That's okay. We can bring it back.
So with scope of practice, a lot of these tools in practice will help you expand on that scope of practice.
So if you're expanding on we're talking about practice growth, expanding scope of practice. Let's talk. I mean, why would someone want to do that? Why would someone take on the headache of learning something new?
And there's some that, and there's some that are okay doing what they do in the practice, and then there's no interest there and to grow that. Here's the bottom line. Okay. It all comes back to patient care. So if there's that patient in your practice, and like, do not think of this as, oh, I got to sell the patient on this procedure. It's not about that. Like, you're not selling the procedure, you're selling the outcome. Well, exactly. And there's a couple weeks back is like, dentists have the luxury of, they don't have to, they're not selling it. The money that comes along with having a successful practice, it just means that you've helped more people. And do what you love and the money will come. Yeah. And like, as long as you have, at the end of the day, it's not about like the bottom line or the, that thing. If your ultimate in your heart of hearts is you want to serve your patient, you will be successful. Because I'll tell you right now, the things that I've learned over the last, like 5 years or whatnot, and all these tools and everything that exists, and marketing and training and everything, is a lot of people are looking externally for their opportunity, when there's a greater opportunity and an easier opportunity that exists within your practice base, people that are already coming in. And that's, a lot of that, again, comes back to your knowledge, and to expand on your scope of practice. This maybe go back to the guy that's just coming out of, dental school, guy, girl. Really, like, just always learn. Like, that's okay. So I want to touch on, if you're a dentist, you're like, hey, I want to grow my practice. Should I spend more money on marketing? Right. That's a very logical first place to look. Like, hey, I just bought this practice. I need to market it. I need to make sure that there's patients coming in every month. Yeah. How many patients do I need every month to sustain? Do I have a leaky bucket? Are people leaving the practice? Right. Yeah. You're very exposed. If you're the new owner of a practice, you're exposed to losing patients because they don't know you. They're used to seeing the person who's been there for the last 20 years. And so somebody new comes in. I think there's a risk there. So, going back to what you say about like instead of looking externally, looking internally, if you are one of those people that's about to buy or sell a practice and you're like, well, okay, it says here I've got 2,000 patients. Do you know for sure? Like, is your PMS giving you clean data? Yeah. And how many people have we seen burned? People get burned on this stuff all the time. Active patients. So if there's a transition happening, there's companies that'll do, as we know, practice analysis for you. They'll come in and they'll give you an evaluation, whatever that is that data clean? So are those 2,000 patients active? Yeah. That's the first thing you want to know. You might see Mrs. Smith as a patient file, but she hasn't been in since 1996. So the question then is like, okay, well, how clean is that data that's in the practice management software? And do you need an adjunctive software to help you make sure that you can not only get the data cleanly out of your PMS and understand it, but that it can curate it in a way that you will say, okay, I see what I'm doing in restorative. I see what I'm doing in hygiene. Mm-hmm. I understand these production numbers. I see our KPIs. I know what everyone's producing in this practice. This makes sense to me in a very simple format, like what a software like CareCrew does. It'll give you that snapshot. It'll say, hey, here's what the practice is doing. And not only will it do that, but it'll show you like, hey, here's your automation. Here's how the patients are coming into the practice. Mm-hmm. And we're also making sure that they're leaving a good review for you when they leave the practice. So that situation where it's like, before you go and decide to spend money on marketing, again, us being a growth platform, we're not here to sell you marketing services. No. We help with marketing services, and we can obviously provide those for you. But the first thing we want to do is make sure that you have a secure baseline of that practice and know how it's performing. Yeah. You might run into the situation where the practice does not have a foundation of tools set up to extrapolate all this data.
90% of practices.
That's, I would say, let's make sure that we always look at actualities. So I know it's,
But that's something that I want to touch on because, people say, Dentist on Demand, okay, you guys are offering marketing solutions, you're a growth platform. We get that.
Yeah.
But what's something tangible you can say to someone and say, the first thing we want to look at is what's the practice doing now?
Right. Like,
don't spend any money yet.
Yes.
Let's do an analytic first.
Yeah. And I mean, that boils down to, even the team that's there, like, what's the culture like? What's their conversion on the phone? Like, you can spend X amount of dollars on marketing.
Are you tracking your calls?
Are you tracking them? Are you tracking your marketing spend to know your actual, your cost per new patient acquisition, like to the cents? Like, you can do that now. You can actually put some tools in place where you can clearly see there's no guessing game on it. And if there's, if you're going off on a tangent and things aren't working out, you can react immediately and do things to adjust where the boat is going.
Yeah, 100%. So we talked about scope of, expanding your scope of practice, but now we're talking about looking at, hey, before you spend any external dollars, and I'm kind of excluding expanding your scope of practice in that because I'm really talking more about external marketing, right? Before you hire that marketing company, it does make sense to talk to myself or Mark, somebody within Dentist on Demand, to say, hey, like, I think I need a new website. Is that the best next step for me? Do I need to put more money into SEO? Do I need more paid traffic? Like what combination of services, or maybe just one, do I need to start utilizing to help grow my practice? I know I need to grow my practice. I just don't know where to start. Yeah. And that's when most clients come to us and they say, okay, we understand you guys are a practice growth platform. We're really kind of consultants, right? So we work within an ecosystem. Holy smokes.
You're like karate today.
Yeah. We work within an ecosystem of solutions that are all geared towards growing your practice. So it's not necessarily just one solution. You might need software. Yeah. You might need a marketing solution, or you might need education and training to expand your scope of practice,
or to train the staff so that they're running more efficiently and they're happy and they're being listened to, and they have all the pieces in place to be successful.
You want to pull up that graphic we created?
I was going to ask, do you want the graphic?
Because we're going to be at the Pacific Dental Conference this year.
Oh.
We may as well give people a sneak peek if anyone's watching.
Oh, this is what we're all about these days.
I like the chalkboard. That's cool. That's so cool.
So we're taking people to school on how to grow your practice.
To school.
No, we are
we're guiding. I wouldn't say people there's a lot of highly educated people out there that already understand a lot of this stuff.
I get it. And there's a lot of people that know that I knew all this stuff, but okay. I challenge you. Do you have all sides of the triangle fixed? And there are some people that are kicking butt, and they do.
There's a lot of people kicking butt out there. And our hats are off to you.
Yeah.
But, we want to be a resource. Can you put that back up? I like that.
We'll just talk behind that. Yeah. You just like the chalkboard.
I think it's just like, what software and technology will help, that's why I brought up CareCrew, right? So is there a technology component that you're missing? How are you measuring? How are you utilizing data to grow your practice?
Yeah.
Right. Training and education, is there a course? Have you spoken to your lab partner? Is there something you can be doing to expand that offering to your patient base to provide a wider net of care for your patients? And then of course, number 3 is the marketing, right? So it's figuring out, okay, you might not need to completely rebuild the marketing machine for your practice.
Yeah.
You might just need to spend a few extra bucks on SEO or pick up a few cool backlinks or something like that.
Let's take a look at marketing as a whole, and there's a lot of redundancies in marketing.
A lot.
There's a lot of should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Like social media, I get that all the time. Should we have a social media page? Should we be pushing that and spending time on that? I would say,
Careful.
I know there's only a certain, if you've got 10,000 followers and it's a great tool to utilize, then by all means, continue on that. And you're actually you can like see through the data that that's where these patients are coming from is your social media. I guarantee you
more patients are coming from
there's a lot of people doing social media out there that it's your followers are just your friends and your family, and it's just your mom and your boyfriend or whoever that might be seeing your content.
And I'm going to steal a quote from Gary Vaynerchuk, who I listen to religiously. I think he's brilliant, and anytime I can steal something from him and dispense that knowledge, I want to make sure I give him credit. He does say, he's like, don't like, if you're not, there's one quote where he says, you know, I didn't pick up a basketball and thought I could be LeBron James on day one, and I'm not going to pretend that I can do that.
Well, we got a comment here. And important to determine what the practice what it wants to grow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That is a great
for
comment.
sure.
Thank
So
you. Who left that?
A lot of our discussion with our clients will be like,
oh, hey Eddie,
thanks for the comment.
I think Eddie's I believe Eddie's in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Great guy. Henry Schein.
So really important. You know what we like. Every clinician is different. Like let's get to the bottom of what dentistry you want to do. What are you passionate about? Obviously, what you're passionate about, the work that you do, if you're passionate about it, you're going to do it better. You're going to be more focused on it.
What was his comment again? Sorry,
it's too late. Quickly. It's just too late, man.
And if you're a dentist looking for an amazing rep in the Ontario, I believe in the Toronto area, you should talk to Eddie. He's fantastic. Okay. Important to determine what the practice wants to grow, i.e. patients, revenue, education, and their team. Absolutely. Yeah. So I cut you off. Carry on.
Do you want me to put the comment back on?
I have a harder time reading the big screen than you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's right. So having that conversation with your client, I know that I'm sure Eddie's done this many, many times, where determining what the clinician or the practice needs and what they want to grow, by all means, 100%.
Yeah. And you'll, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of clinicians out there that'll be like, yeah, I don't really want to do that in my practice. I'm going to refer that stuff out.
That's a really good point. So before you sort of imprint what you think somebody wants on them, you know, ask that question. You know, do you want to grow your practice? Where do you want to grow? Yeah. So that's a very good timely comment. Thank you for that, Eddie.
Cool.
But yeah, so we're going back to the software, making sure that that you have a good snapshot of what your practice is doing in the performance. You know, making sure you're getting clean data, right? So always worth your time to speak with a consultant, whether it's a Henry Schein consultant or just a general consultant about how your practice is performing and what you're doing in every category. You know, how are you doing in diagnostic? How are you doing in hygiene? Are you hitting those benchmarks? What are those benchmarks? How much hygiene should you be doing? How much of your business makeup should be hygiene? That's a good question.
And, you know, talk to a consultant, yes, but I implore you to search out. There are a lot of fantastic tools out there to put in place. I know it's on a month-to-month basis. It could be really daunting. It could be really challenging to understand these tools and how they work to their entirety. But you know, if we're spending X amount of dollars to get all of our CE credits for the year, I would argue that this front end education, this front end knowledge that's out there for you to gain is equally as important these days. It's not just, you know, recare and filling the seats and all that sort of stuff. There is a lot of knowledge and information to garner out of having a strong piece of technology software and a team that has been trained to know how to like leverage and use that tool to its maximum.
Finding a study club too.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not part of a study club, well worth your time to research what study clubs are in your area, and a lot of them are virtual now. And finding out, you know, where do you want to grow? What do you want to learn about?
I got a good one. There's the BC Study Club.
Hey,
there you go.
BC Digital Study
Club.
The
BC Digital Study Club. Just go to Dr. Faraj at his page, and I think he's got a link on there.
The shameless plug. Oh, that's going back to the social media. So there's an example of somebody who has really figured out how to harness the power of social media to attract patients to his practice. You know, he just opened up his practice like just a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
But he's busy. He's got lots going on.
There are a handful of folks out there that have really been able to harness the power of social media to its entirety, but I would argue that is a very small percentage of clinicians out there. So to walk in their footsteps, they've spent and
you're cautioning me now.
It's a very difficult road. If everybody can have 20,000 followers or 10,000 followers, it's not an easy, you have to be very creative with your content. I would argue if you have time to spend in your practice for a marketing, what are we doing for marketing? Get your team to ask for reviews.
Oh, man.
Get your team to ask for referrals. Do those two things, and it's time better spent than what are we going to post on social media today.
But I think it's important. I do agree with you. So I didn't want to gloss over the fact that social, there is a technique, there's a science, there's an art to it.
Oh yeah.
And if you're not good at it, you can start small and start working your way into it. But going back to the asking for reviews. So I've been in a situation before where we've had a client of Dentist on Demand's and ask us, okay, we want to start utilizing this referral program. How do we do it? We have a patient base that's 40 years, it's a 40-year patient base, right? So starting to implement this into their practice was a bit of a challenge, especially for some of the folks that have been working at that practice for the last 20 years. They were not super comfortable with asking for that review. And that's a very real situation, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to get 100% adoption right out of the gate, but it is a great talk track to say, hey, you know what? We want to put these QR codes in areas where patients can quickly scan and do a review. I always advise to have the review done in the chair. Excuse me. I always advise to have, try to have the patient. There is some downtime if you're pre-appointing the patient in the chair. That's a great chance to say, while I'm checking the schedule, would you mind scanning this QR code and giving us a review, and then having that done even before they leave the chair.
I mean, just like anything in the beginning, it becomes it's uncomfortable, it's tough, but I'm telling you, and there's so many good things that come out of getting reviews, and we can talk to the SEO factor, or how it's a very high percentile of how you perform for SEO and where you're visible on that Google search. We all, if you're going to purchase something on say Amazon, you're unsure, you're looking through those reviews. So, and you always get the well, if I start asking for the review, what if I get a bad review? If you're actively asking for reviews, if you ask somebody for a review and then they go and blast you on, no, that is an unlikely scenario. So, but the likely scenario is somebody that you're not asking, that they're going and leaving a garbage review outside of you asking. And how do we get rid of that bad review? We just bury them with good reviews. So
yeah, or if you say to yourself, hey, everybody's had a bad review. It's just the nature of the business. It's like people in any business,
people are cranky.
They're cranky. During COVID, people are really cranky.
There are some really malicious people out there that have some weird chip on their shoulder.
And I think the public is.
And now that we say that, we're probably going to get somebody's going to shit on us.
Well, I think that I want to give the public more credit than that, right? So if I'm looking for a dentist in Toronto or Vancouver or any major city, and I see 100 great reviews, 99 great reviews, and this one person who's losing their biscuit over this thing, well, chances are this person's got there's something weird happening that the brain will automatically go with percentages and say, okay, 1 out of 100, I'm okay going here.
Yeah, people have a radar for that stuff for sure.
For sure. Yeah. And if and if you do get a couple bad reviews, it's hey, as long as you leave that paper trail to say, oh look, the office actually responded to this bad review. They gave me an opportunity to fix it. Yeah. They're come back into the office. What can we do to make the experience better for you?
Respond to all of your reviews.
Respond to it.
All of them.
I'm getting pinged.
Not only is it good, Google looks at that, but it looks like you're engaged with your patient base.
100%.
Super important.
Yeah, which is what people want. They want their dentist to, or their hygienist, or their CDA, or the front end team. They want to hear from them. They want to feel like they're a valuable part of your practice.
I'm hungry, man.
Okay, I think it's good. I think we touched on. Let's wrap it up. We wanted to keep it nice and quick today. We're getting back into the deep end here.
Yeah, a little slow to start. We had to do a couple of restarts.
That's okay.
But I think we brought it together. But
it's good. It looks good today. I like the way the studio looks. You did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
On our frame.
We have our own.
It's nice.
I think we're framed.
It looks clean.
Like I even framed up the owl. Like I'm the owl.
The Watchman owl.
You've moved it, but I had
you got really freaked out when I moved the.
I had this guy set up so that he was like, you're the wolf.
We'll put him back. You can't really see him. You got to put him here.
Hang on.
We got to make his profile here. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is.
I did have him. So you move things around.
There.
You got in here.
He's in the right spot now.
There we go. Now I feel better.
You can sleep tonight. Your OCD will not flare up.
My OCD is not flaring
up. We both have
anymore.
a touch of the OCD.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So we talked about practice growth with expanding your scope of practice, talk to your laboratory. And if you're like, hey, you know what, I want to take a cool course, what do I do? Reach out to us. We know a lot of great labs across Canada, I should say.
Yeah.
That, they do a ton of CE, a ton of courses. So
use
this as a resource.
If you want to grow your practice, you should probably give us a call. We kind of we know this stuff. We do it pretty good. So
you're so mic drop. That's your mic drop moment.
I'm
mic
dropping, but honestly, it's not I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but we have the genuine intention of we're not in this game to let's get 1 million people and make $1 million.
We're not here to we didn't work at this for 5 years, build a podcast studio and do 100 podcasts. To not earn your trust.
There's something really fun about somebody that comes in through our wheelhouse and they're having a trouble, and then a year snapshot later they're like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so busy.
Yeah.
We've
got a couple people like that now. We've helped them out, and now they're too busy to spend time with us. We miss you,
but we have pizza.
But we're super pumped for you. We're super pumped that they're doing well.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're good, man.
I think that's it.
I think we
should we do the intro again? We should do the intro again. No, I shouldn't.
You're mic dropping it, so you do whatever you want.
Oh, we've mic dropped.
You mic dropped it, so you need to shut up now.